All right, we're going to be looking at these protests that happened in Iran, and we're going to look at it from both sides of the aisle in the media. We'll look at some ABC News. Well, this is ABC News Australia. All right, we're going to be looking at some Al Jazeera protests and see if there's any differences, what's going on out there. And I'm seeing that these protests have claimed the lives of about 6 people. Both sides of the aisle in I've seen media. Some stuff on Telegram. I might pull that up in a few. Australia. Let's get into it. Look at some Al Jazeera and see if there's any differences, what's going on out there. I'm seeing that these protests have claimed the lives of
and
about
the
6
crackdown
people.
from Iran's security forces appears to be intensifying. So what started as a protest by merchants in Tehran's bazaar shutting their shops, angry about high inflation and about the Iranian rial crashing to a record low against the US dollar, has now spread to multiple cities, and the merchants have been joined by students at universities and pretty much anyone unhappy with the government's repressive policies, and they allege extensive corruption and mismanagement of many issues. So this follows a number of crises which have weakened Iran's clerical regime, notably a terrible water shortage in Tehran in recent months, and in June the 12-day war which Israel started by attacking Iran's nuclear facilities and ballistic missile sites, and that led to Iranian cities, particularly Tehran, being bombed on almost a daily basis, and a number of civilians being killed, and Israel killing a number of senior Iranian officials and scientists. The Iranian military was completely unable to counter Israel's air power, and the Iranian population felt absolutely defenseless in the face of Israel's attacks. There's also been repression by the Iranian state after the war, with Iranian police and security arresting hundreds of people, accusing them of spying for Israel, and putting a large number of people to death as well. So these are the most widespread and dangerous major protests since the Woman Life Freedom Marches in 2022 and 2023. Now, the Iranian government has brutally repressed protests in the past, killing hundreds of people, and rights groups and protesters in Iran fear that might happen again. But what's different about these protests, according to analysts and people we're speaking to in Iran, is just that the situation is so much more desperate. People say they can't afford food, inflation has reached really crisis levels, services are starting to drop off, and the government has just proved unable to respond to this situation. So more and more people are desperate. And
all right, well, you know, I watched the Australian version because it came out earlier than the American, and Australia is ran by them boys just as much as America, if not more. So let's see, Al Jazeera. I mean, I looked on Press TV, and I don't think I really saw anything. I watched the Australian version because it came out earlier than the American, and see if anything pops up on Press TV. Boys just as much as America, if not more. Al Jazeera is. Let's see, Al Jazeera. I mean, I looked on Press TV, and I don't think I really saw anything.
To Iran, where protests against rising living costs have been gathering pace in recent days, with the president calling for national unity and solidarity. In Fars province, security forces fired at protesters while crowds tried to storm a local government building. Authorities say at least one person has been killed in a western region. Iran's chief prosecutor has warned of a decisive response if the protests threaten to destabilize the country. The demonstrations began on Sunday after shopkeepers in Tehran's Grand Bazaar walked off the job. Iranians are angry at the rapid decline of their currency, which is one part of their worsening economic situation. President Masoud Pezeshkian has appealed for unity. He says that there's pressure coming from inside the country and from abroad.
We are engaged in a full-scale war. Right now, the enemy has placed most of its hopes on knocking us down through economic pressure. You cannot conquer a nation with bombs, fighter jets or missiles. To defeat us, they would have to come and face us on the ground. And if they were to confront this nation on the ground, if we remain determined, united and committed to working together to make our country proud, it would be impossible for them to bring Iran to its knees.
Tawhid Asadi is in Tehran. Tawhid, Protests started in Tehran, as we said, with shopkeepers, but they've spread beyond, far beyond the Grand Bazaar now of the capital. How big has this become?
Well, actually, over the past few days, we have been witnessing sporadic protests here across the capital, even though for the past 2 days, the situation looks to be a little bit calm compared to the days when it started in the vicinity of areas near the Grand Bazaar of Tehran and Jumhuri Avenue. And if you look at that location, you can understand what is all about, and it's basically about the economic demands that people are raising. And of course, as you mentioned, it's not just limited to the capital. In major and now in some small cities of the country, we have been witnessing the same amount of protest, even though I can say that it has yet to gain the momentum, the traction. We can see from time to time different protests in different cities of the country. The latest report comes from Kuhdasht, a city in which the escalation ramped up, resulting in a sort of confrontation between protesters and security forces. And according to the latest report, one of the Basij militia was killed in this protest, and also 13 other security forces were injured. But all in all, the picture is that the security forces are practicing extreme amount of caution, seeing the very fact that the country, the state, the security apparatus is not really, they are all not interested into further escalation of the situation, because if that goes to a nationwide level, that would be running the risk of going out of control. So we see a sort of patience when it comes to security forces and when it comes to the political discourse that we have been hearing over the past few days.
You know, in the past, when the Iranian government has been faced with protests, they've always ended up cracking.
Okay, yeah, I think I was on mute before, and I don't plan on really editing this. I want to keep this as raw and authentic as possible. Learn from my mistakes. Well, it is what it is. But I don't think I was unmuted. I'm unmuted now. I know that for sure. If I was muted before, I said that I don't plan on really editing this. I watched the Australian one because it came out 2 hours before the American commentary on it or news reporting on it, and Australia's ran by them boys as well, so it doesn't really matter. If I was muted before, I said that, which is like the Australian one platform, but I don't came out 2 hours before the American. They get along with Iran so much, but and Australia's ran by them boys as well, so it doesn't really matter. So let's try. I tried to look on Press TV earlier, but didn't really find anything. But I don't think. But let's see right now if I can find with Iran so much on Press TV about this. So let's try. I tried to look on Press TV earlier, but didn't really find anything. But let's see right now if I can find something on Press TV about this. Oh my God, they want you to do no, we're not doing that. Let's go to X. Whoa, oh my boy. God, they want you to do no, we're not doing that. Let's go to X. Whoa, my boy. Alex Karp, number 12. That's wild. Should be higher on the list. Alex Karp, number 12. That's wild. Should be higher on the list. Let's see if we could just search on their thing. Protest. let's see if we could just search on their thing. Protest. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be reporting on this, bro. They have state-run media. It's looking like they're not talking too much about this on Press TV. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be reporting on this, bro. I mean, I saw something on here earlier about maybe something to do with the coup or something. Yeah, it's looking like they're not talking too much about this on Press TV. Oh, this right here is fucked up. I mean, I saw something on here earlier about maybe something to do with the coup or something. Oh, this right here is fucked up. Okay, I'm not really seeing much on here. We can go to, I just want to scroll a little bit more. And then I'll go on Telegram and look for, okay, I'm not really seeing videos of what's going on the ground. We can go to, I just want to scroll a little bit more. Okay, let's go to Telegram.